But it was also because people like you were calling people, and like you said, you were persistent. You created, I'm saying that created shows, which created more shows, which leads into why we are able to play, why so many shows are happening in 2023, because people like yourself, there wasn't a space, you just created one.
And there's kids out there right now doing the same thing I did 40 years ago.
Yep.
Which is cool. I mean, it doesn't change. These guys are doing the same shit I did, and they're fighting for shows, and they're doing it. And that's the only thing that really keeps us going and keep it alive. And it's cool. I mean, the do-it-yourself stuff was really cool. I think I had a lot of fun, or more fun, doing our own shows and put stuff together with our friends. I mean, like all those old early, mid to late 80s hardcore bands, Half Off and Hard Stance and Final Conflict, ourselves. There was so many Reason to Believe. We were all buddies, man. We were all friends. We played together a lot of shows because we were friends, and we were all into the DIY stuff, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. I'd play with those guys, a million times because they were our friends, and we all had a blast together. And a lot of those guys I miss that aren't here anymore. I really miss all of them. And those were different times. And man, what a great time that was.
Got 3 more questions. What is one thing you'd like people to know about you that they don't know?
Ooh. Wow. Well, I talked about the kidney and health problems. That was but
and that can be it. That can be. I mean, I don't want. You know what I mean? Like if you're good with that, but I just
fine. I really can't pinpoint anything that most people wouldn't know about me. I mean, I've always been kind of known as an angry guy, a violent guy, and I mean, people attribute that to different things, and people that go to jail or go to trial for that kind of stuff or doing something in a violent way or whatever, they always blame it on the family. Well, that I think that's why I was that way. I came from a broken home. Parents divorced early. The violence in the household was crazy. Ashtrays flying, glasses, beer bottles, wine bottles, whatever. It was just fired across the house all hours of the night. And so I think part of my anger issues come from that. And a lot of people blame it on that kind of shit, but I'm not on trial, never gone to prison, thank God. Never gone to jail for my violent temper. And that's all kind of calmed down, of course, with age. I'm almost 60. So that's all kind of calmed down. But I had a really rough upbringing. So that's one thing. I mean, if you listen to the prison record, one thing's weird to me on that prison record, prison CD, it never came out on vinyl. There's not one single cuss word on that whole record. I didn't have a big vocabulary, and on the early stuff I did was a whole lot of cussing on those things, and there was not one cuss word on that record, and I don't know why. But that record, about 90% of the lyrics on that record were pretty much based on my upbringing. So maybe that's it. People don't know. The lyrics on the record were basically my childhood. And a review from Maximum on that thing, and I know people have different tastes and whatever, and a bad review doesn't bother me. But they reviewed, whoever reviewed that record CD reviewed it as a machismo, macho, big mouth yelling guy, big muscle guy yelling machismo. Wasn't that at all? He totally, obviously he didn't read the lyrics, because that was about a child coming up in a real bad upbringing. And I think anybody, if they really read the lyrics, just music aside, just read the lyrics, you would get it. So that bothered me about reviews, people not reading the lyrics. But bad bad reviews, I didn't give a shit about bad reviews. It didn't mean nothing to me. I had fun doing the band, or I had fun playing live, or fun recording. So yeah, that's probably it. That's probably what they don't know. Anybody, and not a lot of people heard that record anyhow, but
I've heard it.
I do have a sensitive side to me.
Well, which speaking of that, that actually goes into my last question, which is, have the years mellowed you at all?
Yeah, I have my moments, but yes. and it's funny because, you know, when I was younger, you know, you just caution to the wind and stage dives like crazy and just getting banged up doing crazy stuff. And I'll never get old. I won't live past 30. I'll be fine. Okay, 34 rolls around. I'll never get old. I won't live past 40. 50 rolls around. God, I'm starting to hurt a little bit. Now I'm almost 60 and shit really hurts. So yeah, I've mellowed. I have my moments, but yeah, I've mellowed a lot.
Well, Tim, hey, thank you so much for doing this, and thank you. I tried to do this different. Like I didn't want to come at with like the questions that I know that you've been asked and I've heard asked in interviews. I thought that 185 degrees south interview was such a beautifully comprehensive interview that I was like, okay, what's a different angle that I can kind of come at this with? And thank you. And I really do want to put up the funny parts of you and I trying to coordinate the technology, just because I think people will appreciate that. Like, I know that I would. Like, hey, I'm a fan of this guy. I'm a fan of his band. Wait a minute. Look at, you know.
Evan, I appreciate this whole thing, man. I mean, and you really came at me with a couple questions that I've never even heard in an interview before. So, I mean, you hit a different angle, and it was fun, and it was great. And knowing that you're from the old school, and you're from Orange County, and you're from the old crew, and it's just comfortable and easy doing it with you.
Tim, you are the best. Get back to that function. Thank everybody for letting me borrow you for an hour to do this. And hey, we did it. We got it done.
Figured it out. All right, Evan. Thank you so much.
Take care, my friend.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.